Gambit on the very opposite side with 76. That's something to behold, especially for a team that came in here and said, and I quote Nafany, we want to make an era. LAN, studio, online. Who cares about it when you want to win, Jason?
Yeah, well, I mean, sadly for Nafany, everyone else cares about it. Everyone else cares if it's LAN or online. Like the fans, the community, the analysts, the casters, the other players, they all care if it's LAN or online. And I think someone who says that doesn't have a body of work on LAN. Now, that's not a knock on him at all, but it's time to start putting that together. That's where this quarterfinal comes to play.
I like that.
Damn,
heavy
starting,
punches.
yeah.
By the way, this is our friend Maniac right here. Maniac, welcome to the show. Welcome to the quarterfinal that is Gambit Faze. Talk to me a little about some of the stuff that we're looking at right off the top.
I mean, we are looking at pretty much the accumulation of the experience versus people having to prove everything on the line right there. And this is what matters the most in that matchup, because if you think about level, surely Gambit is at top. But we are online. This is the playoff of IEM Cologne, right? And I can tell you, I've been there many times. This event, the fact that you're playing a quarterfinal and playoff, this is not something similar to playing home. Hobbit talked about it in an interview. So all eyes are on the players and how they're gonna, handle that pressure.
And it's great to see Hobbit have that much respect as well for that experience factor, that change from online and LAN. And it's especially great seeing that as the only real player on the team that has some big LAN experience.
You think how many of that is Hobbit? 67,
Yeah.
70? It's probably Hobbit 85% or 90%. That's Hobbit doing the round.
It's a crazy thing to think about, especially for a team that came into this event, looked almost indestructible online, but now, they've kind of exceeded those expectations. They're moving away from that taboo. It's like, can they do it online? They're doing it. They've done it. Now it's the time to show it again.
It's an interesting match because, they have shown it and they've been fantastic and their players have risen to the occasion. But let's say there is a stumble here in the quarterfinals. Let's just say, for whatever random reason, someone's having a bad day, someone's sick, doesn't play well, they make too many mistakes, whatever it might be, maybe Twist goes nuts. If you drop this quarterfinal matchup to a Faze that came into this event looking limp and dead, like that, regardless of what you've shown to this point, that's not good enough for Gambit.
And Maniac, talk to me about Shiro, what he's bringing to the table for Gambit.
Well, the thing is, Shiro came into this event as one of the players that had the most to prove, right? He had this crazy rise with Gambit Online, and everyone was waiting for him to kind of fail, and he didn't. Looking at the leaderboards, he's topping the charts. He's the highest rated player. He finds opening kill. He does a lot of stuff for Gambit. But I agree with you, and I think it's a point that we need to hit home really. You missed that game right now. You have one bad best of 3, which in a sense can happen to anyone, but not here. It cannot happen here. It will haunt you in your dreams, right? You get eliminated right now because you just had a measly best of 3, you played badly. That cannot happen. And this is new for Gambit. This is new, the fact that they don't have the right to fault. They don't have the right to make a mistake. They have to win this game.
Yeah, they absolutely do. For us, we get the opportunity to hear from someone we don't always get to hear from. It's going to be Shiro from Gambit, who had some words with us before this started.
Мы приехали сюда, чтобы показать такую же игру, как и в онлайне. Мы хотим, дойти до финала, как минимум. Мы потерпели поражение против G2, но я думаю, мы сделаем выводы и улучшим свою игру, и сможем дойти до финала. Я просто его взял, это, можно сказать, из аниме, но оно мне просто понравилось по написанию. Поэтому раньше у меня был ник Сокол, потому что у меня фамилия такая, а сейчас Тогда я решил просто поменять на Широ, и все. Играется на лане мне лично индивидуально хорошо, а в будущем я хочу я хочу, чтобы мы подняли трофей вместе с моей командой на лане именно, перед сценой и людьми. На лане вообще отлично, команда себя чувствует, я думаю, тоже отлично. Для всех эта обстановка новая, просто супер для нас всех. Лично я тоже нормально играю, наверное, не знаю. Мне все нравится, все очень хорошо. Наши цели — это удержаться в этом году в топ-1, попасть во множество финалов, которые вообще будут. А против Faze Clan, я думаю, будет тяжело. Все-таки они сейчас набрали форму, и мы постараемся их обыграть.
And let's just flip it right around on its head right here. We're going to take a look at the recent results for Faze Clan. They had a hard time. I guess Twist did have a hard time against Heroic on Nuke. Went 14-21. But that was, after an Astralis 25-22 belter. You've shown all your tricks of the trade at that point, Maniac.
Yeah, you do. Look, we talk about Faze and obviously online, as we can see. Have you heard of a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because I think that's what's happening with Faze. I'm not even kidding. They've been cultivating this idea that, you know what, once we go back to LAN, we're going to get better. We are not going to tremble. We're not going to falter. We're going to win these clutches. And it's actually happening. And it's embodying in front of our eyes this team that is starting to believe after every single game. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter we had 10% win rate.
Yeah.
We can win every single game, and they feel it, and it shows on the server.
And Jason, would it be fair to say we look at a team like Faze, we look at this team, and they didn't really come here to reinvent the wheel as much as they did reinvent themselves almost?
Yeah, or maybe not even reinvent. I think they're still trying to find themselves to a certain degree, right? Still a relatively new roster. You still have, you know, Olaf relatively new to coming back into the game as well from some extended absence. So a brand new star player that you're focusing around, an in-game leader who admittedly during this online era when he joined the team was having trouble finding that second gear that's made him such a dynamic in-game leader in the past. So yeah, this is like a soul-searching event for Faze, and they're getting there.
Well, I tell you one guy that's been searching for souls, and he's definitely found them over the course of the event thus far. That's going to be Twist from Faze. Let's see what he's got.
Faze has always been a constellation of stars, but when Twist, part of the backbone of Team Liquid, decided to move to Europe, it was with a much more prominent role in mind. No longer content to anchor and wait for the action to come to him, he struck a deal with Faze to be their playmaker, and it is a promise Carrigan upheld when he rejoined the lineup shortly after Twist's team debut. It takes a great deal of self-belief to bet on oneself and see it through. And not all players are able to make the transition. See Kjaerbye's move from Astralis to North, or Esatag heading to Cloud9. However, despite his team's disappointing run so far in 2021, up until Faze's IEM Cologne playoffs breakthrough, the Canadian has been remarkably consistent, rather like his high headshot percentages, with only 7 out of 9 prior events seeing his ratings in the red. So far in Cologne, the star has a 1.22 rating across 10 maps. Today's matchup against Gambit will see Twist's experience face off against Axar's intuition. His performance will be essential to Faze's survival, but will it be enough to conquer the best team in the world?
And Twist, certainly one that we look at as a torchbearer for the side of Faze at this motion. You know, we've seen him have a pretty breakout event here in comparison to where he was, say, a year's time ago. Overall, though, he's not even the only one I look at, and I think in tandem, we've got to talk about Olaf.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, if there's one player in the world that I'd ever choose to go back to, like their early roots in the early days of CS:GO and just find that peak for whatever reason again, it'd be Olaf. I absolutely loved Olaf back in the day. And look, he even said it. He even said coming into this event, he had that quote where he said, nobody's playing with the big balls they've had online. Well, we've seen Olaf's, Swedish meatballs up on big stages for years, and the guy's wild. So if he can get back to that form and be like the second guy behind Twist, like that's the experience, that's the decision-making in pressure moments, that's the incredible skill, that's the round-turning ability that he has. If you get those things out of Olaf in this series, we're going to have a series.
Maniac, I'm seeing Cold Zero on here. He's not on Faze anymore. He's
not anymore. No, and it's Olafmeister in there. And as Jason was alluding to, there are not that many players that will join a team and make everyone else better. Yeah. And I think this is the value you get when you have Olafmeister coming in, because you look at some of these numbers and you might just wait and say, hey, but Cold Zero was much better in stats. It's not what matters here. What matters is that suddenly Olafmeister fits into that system and everyone else can play just a little bit better. Would it be with communication? Would it be with the roles he plays and the decision he makes? He makes that team better.
Or, just the results on paper. When you talk about what Faze is just doing here alone, they're turning heads. There wasn't a whole lot of expectations for Faze to make the playoffs, much less the run that we're watching them do.
No, and what is really cool about Olafmeister is that you realize he can do many different things. We have an example that's going to be coming up shortly that shows all of the abilities that Olaf can have. It starts here on Mirage versus Vitality. He's been aggressive with the AWP. He finds that opening kill. What next after that? He's going to change his position, because that's the type of player he is. Not only just holding an angle, but understanding what's happening. That allows Carrigan after that to move a bit further. So he's dynamic. He can play with the AWP, of course. This is going to be one of the topics we mentioned in that game. And after that, he's going to be helping them with the clutch. So that round right there, and this is the end against Vitality. It shows the jack of all trades that Olafmeister can be.
Which he's always been throughout his career as well. He's always had that gift, even when a Fnatic, picking up the AWP at times, but also being a very powerful rifler. I think for me, what I believe he probably gives to Faze that they probably love more than anything is just the fact that he's just someone you can put somewhere on a map and you're going to have faith that he's going to do the right thing. And whatever situation comes his way, if he needs to fall back, he's going to make the right call to fall back. If he needs to play for time, he's going to play for time. I feel like Olaf is just someone who's been in every single situation and knows knows with experience how to play them all.
Yeah, and he's not necessarily a Swiss Army knife as much as he has like a Swedish Army knife, if those were to exist in this notion. And the notion that I have to deliver forward would be that of the brains over there on the side of Faze Clan. It's got Kerrigan written all over it.
Kerrigan was absolutely delighted last week to have made it to the top 6 of a tournament, and we've got him here right now. Kerrigan, tell me, how do you feel about going up against Gambit today? Because they have less LAN experience than you, but technically you're the underdogs in this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Gambit is the best team in the world right now, and I also think they've showed here at LAN that the online performance is kind of the same. If it's other teams playing better or them playing worse, it's really hard to tell, right? But in the end, they're the best team in the world, and they're favorites to win this tournament, I think, together with Navi, I would say. So no matter who we play in our bracket, we're going to be underdogs, and obviously that's a role I'm perfectly fine with. That's released a lot of pressure. And I think when you are in our team with a lot of legends and older player, it's not often you play without pressure, and I think that's what we're going to do today.
Do you think Olaf's helped relieve some of that pressure with his return?
I'm not sure if he specifically relieved that pressure, but he's doing everything more easy for us. I think he's creating a lot of synergy, a lot of chemistry. He's a very calm player, so his communication is always a point as well. So I think all in all, he makes us play less pressured in the game because he's a great player and obviously a goat of CS.
Can I ask how he actually helps create that synergy? Because when you see Olaf walking around, he's like the tall oak tree of Counter-Strike. He doesn't say too much. He's quite quiet, quite, I guess, internalized with his thoughts. So it's quite hard to see from the outside how he has such an impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think my previous teammates have always said, how is Olaf, because Olaf is very quiet if you don't know him. In a team's environment, he's very different from what he looks from the outside. And I think that's also what surprised me back then when we added Olaf Meister to the lineup. He's actually a very cool, down-to-earth guy where sometimes an interview could be a little, arrogant and stuff like that. I've experienced that in my previous team. So playing with him in a team is very different from like how people see it from the outside. And I also think that's why everybody who played with him said he's a great, great teammate. And I think that you can only see from the inside of the team.
And what are your thoughts on your opposing IGL today, Nafany and Gambit? Because so far he's made quite the splash.
I think he has really, really stepped up this tournament. His vigility level has been really high compared to what we have seen online. So obviously he had a huge impact as an individual player. And I also think as a caller, he has done pretty good at this tournament when you think it's his first big event. Obviously, now it's do or die time in the playoff. And that's where I think he should keep showing the level he has showed online. And I think he's a huge talent, if you could say like that, even though he's ranked #1 in the world with his team, but he has a bright, bright future ahead of him.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Kerrigan. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Very bright future. Well, for us, one of these teams is going to be looking a little bit more brighter than the other. Maniac, talk to me about some of the numbers that you've collected here.
Yeah, what is quite interesting here for the viewers is obviously the difference in terms of how balanced these numbers are. You have on your right-hand side is Gambit with about 54 and 58% respectively of T side and CT side at round 1, whereas Faze heavily rely on their CT side. That was the case up to that point in the playoff. But I just want to tie it back quickly to that Kerrigan interview. Did you hear how many seeds of pressure he planted for Nafany? It's very subliminal. It's very interesting, but it's out there. Look, we have no pressure.
No,
they have all the pressure.
Come on,
it is a mental warfare.
So
no.
Has Nafany even seen this interview? Has anyone asked Nafany if he saw the Kerrigan interview?
Let's call him.
It's been in the statement interview, but he's got to do it, and it's normal. It's part of the game. You have one of the most experienced IGL going up against someone that has everything to prove as an IGL. There is going to be a mental warfare between the two, and we know how Kerrigan likes to play smokescreen. Don't tell me it's not part of the game. If you're an IGL, you would do it too.
Yeah, but it works for your team. It's not like Nafany sitting there being like, holy hell, Kerrigan just said pressure 5 times in this interview. There is pressure. Good Lord.
Yeah. Pressure reasserted on the vetoes. That's exactly where we go with this. Thank you. And in case you didn't know, as a viewer at home, Maniac has a degree in psychology. Does kind of make sense that he can forecast these things from a top-down perspective.
Listen to Jason.
Or listen to Jason. That'll be some sort of like Michigan psychology.
Yeah, nothing's ever gone wrong when listening to me. That's all I have to say.
That's what I've been saying this whole time, but not to you guys. Anyway, map vetoes.
Maps?
That's what I want to talk about. Where are we going? 3 maps. You're going to see Ancient?
We could. I think if Ancient could be a funny trick, funny pick from Faze. That's the way I see it. The bans should be quite clear-cut. I think Vertigo and Nuke are going to fly out the window. I don't see why any teams would really mess with that. But then if and ever Ancient could be a Faze streak coming up, because we've seen Gambit struggle just a little bit
Surely
against NIP. I mean, I wouldn't understand Gambit picking Ancient. Oh, what happened, Jason?
Oh, Jason, what a blunder!
That's. I mean, look. I guess if you're this much of underdogs and you're feeling it and you know you are, yeah, go for that pick. That's yeah, okay. Let's see how it goes. It's just a map that's still developing, and we've seen teams a la NIP, who looked great on it, had talked about all the confidence they had on it, and then got dumpstered on it just a day or two later. So yeah, roll the dice, Faze. Let's go, baby.
Now, for Gambit, honestly, I feel like even though they've been losing that map, I think Inferno is probably one of their best shots. You know, they have an actual very balanced game on Inferno. They go for Overpass. That is interesting because for the longest time, it was part of their go-to maps. It was Vertigo and it was Overpass, and they've been slowly shying away from it. I thought in this match are perfect, but where's their confidence level on Overpass? It makes sense against Faze, but I hope they feel good on it because they've been putting it aside.
Yeah, they might be looking at that 25% win rate for Faze and saying, let's get a confidence game on the map, baby. We got semifinals coming up.
In the perfect world, they've got semifinals coming up.
Yeah, in the perfect world.
Not scripted, but yeah, we did get Inferno as that third and final decider. What are the odds that this series gives us wings to go all the way to Inferno?
I don't know, Maniac, hop in there.
It's
a lot of pressure,
it, dude.
All right, I'll make it easy. I think, you know, there's not going to be any pressure going into Nafany's head. I think they are going to be cold-blooded assassinations right there, and we're going to close that in 2. Got any problem with that, Jason?
No, I got Gambit winning in 2 as well.
But, okay, all right, fair enough. But Jason, let's just hypothetically say you are the coach, or you know the coach of Faze. What do you say to him going into this game?
Well, I'd say to the boys, I tell them, you got to just trust each other emphatically, run through a wall, even if you feel like it might be the wrong thing. If your teammate tells you what he's doing, he wants you to do something, just back him up 110% and get after it.
And Maniac, just to kind of trail on what you were talking about here with Gambit, coming into this event as, you know, one of the kings of online or kings of whatever you want to call them.
Absolutely.
How do they go into this one mentally?
I think they try and avoid any kind of mental warfare I was talking to. I think if you're Gambit, you don't even consider who you play against. You live in your own bubble. You're confident in your Counter-Strike. You've been proving it time and time again. Now you've made that jump into LAN event. You just keep on doing what you do.
Yeah.
Don't care who you play against.
Don't change a thing.
Exactly, don't change. Don't try and play the mind game. Don't try and know what Kerrigan's going to do. It doesn't matter. You have a recipe. You have a formula that is working. Stick to it. You play the best Counter-Strike we have at the moment.
But also, I did hear of a stat now. I'm not sure which one of you said it, because a lot of things get said back there in that green room.
Wait. You're bringing up green room stuff?
Well, kind of. and I'm just going to throw the quotation marks out here. Faze have yet to win a second-round force buy. Am I hearing that right? Maniac, what the hell does that even mean?
It does mean that basically if they lose the pistol round, they're almost guaranteeing going 0-3, and this is not a good stat to go. That's the fact, you know, it's just not good. And on the flip side of that coin is Gambit, who have actually extremely good pistol round stats, right? They have 3 players who are currently in the top 10 in terms of pistol. Obviously, Shiro, Hobbit, and Aksai. These are your usual suspects, and they win these pistol rounds, and they convert them.
Listen, I'm really interested going into Ancient with that stat that we had up there, Faze winning like 64% of their CT-sided rounds. I think this is going to be a tough map for them to hold that statistic up. Gambit, Hobbit is a beast over at that B-bomb site, the one that's super confusing for whatever reason.
The one that's supposed to be A, but it's also B.
He's great at lurking over in that position outside of Jaguar. I think you're going to see Gambit really, really messing with their coordination and communication on their rotations, getting aggressive towards that mid-room at the top of the stairs. This is going to be a really tough map, I think, for Faze to feel comfortable on their CT side.
And think about the clutches, right? Because one of the areas where Faze have been shining through in that tournament is these 14-14, 2 versus 2 clutch moments, where, as we've been talking about Olofmeister, Rain, Kerrigan, they've gone through them hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. Not on Ancient, though. Not on Ancient. It is still a little bit of a,
I didn't think about that angle.
Don't even have protocols. Like, okay, how do I know in my 10 years of experience I'm going to play this 2 versus 2? You don't have that kind of backup and plan. You don't have that. You have to create it as you go.
That's actually a really cool angle. It's almost like they've kind of neutralized part of their own experience by playing. Yeah, credit where it's due, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been saying it the whole damn time. Now I'm ready to say it's time to live on 3. Gambit versus Faze, and we're kicking it off with Ancient. Only one of these teams is going through to the semifinals tomorrow. Who's it going to be? Let us know. Hashtag IEM, y'all. Let's kick it off with Sponge and Machine.
Oh, yes, indeed. Quarterfinals, Ancient, the newest map in the pool. It's a treat for us. It's a treat for you. And you can see 1xBet believes it should just be an open and shut case for the Gambit boys. Understandably so. The call out of Kerrigan's mouth is 4 mid on contact. And who is it that's going to be scouting this out? Shiro might go for a little jumpy looky-loo.
Aksai from Donut here as well.
Well, they can pincer in to some extent. P250 on Twist to try and open up proceedings. It's a great shot straight in. Brokey's gone. Jakey is going to be providing our observer goodness. Smoke to stop that temple angle. Shiro can peek around it, though. He's tucked in tight and is already peppering through. Axel, the wounded, now the dead. Rain bounding on in as well. There's some Julies in play. They may be activated, and they are tagging up Olof. He's got to be cautious, and that's what Shiro was waiting for. Oh dear. Flubs his lines a little. 3 versus... Oh, never mind. 2 versus 3. The bomb's still got plenty of time. Don't have to rush it. They have got access to the site, Chad.
Yeah, and Hobbit has a kit here, so they can allow the bomb to go down. Little jiggles out from Rain. It's baited the shot.
Playing with fire, though. Twist is struggling to hit that shot. Hobbit gets many chances, and on the last, Rain falls. It could fall back into Gambit's favor. Twist to come up clutch. Not going to be easy. They have a kit they can rob this time. They draw in wide. A great find, and not going to happen. Hobbit happens. 3 in the round, 2 HP to spare, and the last bullet was the one to find Rain.
Oh, a couple of banger shots to kick off that pistol round. It all got messy there for a moment. But Faze were given a lot of space out the gate there, just able to saunter through mid, make their way onto the site and get that bomb down. Now, I think that backs up some of the stats the desk was just talking about. Obviously, 50-50 for pistols so far for Faze, and Gambit looking better in those pistol rounds. And they're going to secure another one here off the back of Hobbit's 3rd frag. Beautiful scenes right there.
HP, bro.
Now, keep in mind, Faze are yet to win a 2nd round force buy right here, and they've gone all in straight towards this B-bomb site.
Yeah, and it's on the T side where they've been struggling to accrue rounds. So it really is not a recipe for success. Let's see if they can change just a little bit of our mind here. Twist is going to be aggressing as soon as flames fade into his cast is
coming out.
And here they come. No one's flashed. Rain gets something, and it doesn't look great for Carrigan and Brokey. Bodies dropped, bomb dropped. Nade on the toes. Carrigan's going to be really careful here. Brokey's looking the wrong way, and it falls into place again for Gambit. Just as easy as that. Still yet to see Faze convert the 2nd round force.
Oof, and Hobbits does get his hands on that M4 there, but this is really fantastic start from Gambit. So the rounds that they've been doing better in than Faze, quite clearly, statistically, are going their way early. When you get the pistol, you convert the 2nd, you're going to get the 3rd for free. This is great for those jitters, right? The conversation coming out of the Faze camp the entire time has been about the pressure being on Gambit. I love what the desk just brought up there. The sense of come in and just play your own game. Yeah. Just do what you've been doing in practice, because that's what's gotten them so far. And Nafany early getting fired up in this quarterfinal.
Shiro. Straight towards the lane, and a good dunk already losing Carrigan. Just a couple of deagles here. It's going to be a Faze's opportunity to try and just keep Gambit's economy honest. Love a plant. Going to be far out of the realms of possibility at this point, though.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to allow these youngsters to farm up too many kills early, right? Going to Axel, he gets a nice little spray down. That confidence is going to be popping off there. Shiro, you heard from him in the interview. He thinks he's been doing all right. The statistics definitely back that one up.
Yeah, but seeing Ancient picked, you know, when there's mirages in the world.
Yeah. There's a couple of problems, right? Gambit's map pool is so strong. But this says a lot, because we're talking about, and you've heard from Carrigan time and time again, the pressure is on Gambit. And then Maniac astutely pointed out that, well, now Faze have picked into a map where their experience, at least as far as the rounds go, doesn't matter. Yeah. Sure, the pressure, that's a different story. But this map, nobody's a seasoned vet on this one.
Yeah, but the reason we, use veteran, and it's such a powerful word in Counter-Strike, is because, as he put it so astutely, on maps like Mirage, they've been in those 2v2s multiple times.
That's 1 kill. That's not enough to write home about right here. And to cross into the site, we know how difficult it is. The cavalry's made it. Hobbit's here. Inter's a setup in that crossfire. Maybe a matter of time here. Twist took that nade early from Shiro. He goes down, and Shiro even finds that kill. So opening and closing that one out there for the AWP player of Gambit. And there's the coach Groove behind them. See how much input he can have in this one. Has been an integral factor.
And coming into their first weapon round, sorry for speaking over you, coming into their first weapon round, something I'm really interested in seeing is what was the flaws that Carrigan identified in that demo review with Roban. He identified that he was the crutch of the issue for their poor T-round conversions, and we'll see if his role feels a little different, not the sacrificial lamb as he may have seemed. Look at that, a perfectly executed incendiary, great T utility, locking down the lamps, all off to house the A-halls. Hobbit yet to die after a highly impactful pistol. We'll keep an eye on that.
It's actually an A-lean right here. They've got Inters over towards A with Axel, who's in this boost position towards the tree. Hobbit's in swing. And to get some contact here. Inters has spotted something.
Oh, but on the bait, lovely execution. And the round just falls flat. Getting the info on the jump peak draws attention to Big Box and enables that first to come through. Rain's having a walk on the ledge.
We're going to be a tight line here for Hobbit.
He comes back, though. Crosshair was established as the smoke fades. Rain continues his campaign.
Oh, slipping to the net now. That needs to be communicated. So Hobbit's going to drop all the way out of Donut and actually go and fill that gap over towards CT spawn. Shiro and Nafany, they're worried about that. You can see the passive stance they've taken, and that's giving a lot of room right now to Faze. 2 players through cave, make that 3. Brokey's going to join them here. There is a chance to get onto the site. They have 1 smoke and a flash, but the utility will need to be perfect here.
Yeah, and Shiro, if he's not smoked off, he's going to just pop off as you depart through that bedroom. That's the smoke. That will nullify Shiro. Might take a pot shot, but it's down to Nafany for this contest. Twist is posted up. He's been the sharpest tool in the Faze shared. Rain's having some looks. Nafany stays quiet, and the element of surprise doesn't quite convert. Instead, Twist takes down the AWPer, and we're into a 4v3 here. Faze backs against the wall now. Rain has to take some chances. It's not going to pay off. Hobbit finds him, and this round all hinging on Brokey. Shouldn't happen, certainly not now. Bullets go awry, and the defuse will come in.
And they can even pick up that AWP as well right there. So they get everything back, no dramas whatsoever, and only one player going down again here. So Gambit looking fantastic out the gates. And that first gun round, well, I think their play was to pressure Axel, who's normally the solo A anchor. Multiple members here from the Gambit roster. And the dunk from Inter's perfectly placed. The nutmeg attempt from Rain can't catch Hobbit off. And now we have the AKs one more time. That plant, it was good. You have to consider that from Faze. They lost 2 players there in the opening. The fact they even get into a bomb site and get that down has facilitated another purchase here. Looks like similar utility towards mid. Molotov towards that top ledge position. Smokes as well in play. Lamps completely taken care of there. And you can see now peeling off of this upper rope. Hobbit, he's taking some contact. Bullets through.
Did good damage. You might even finish Carrigan.
Oh, dear, what a nade.
On his head. Lucky to be alive. He's got shrapnel in his earlobes, but 4 HP. Rocking and rolling. Still, bombs loose B, and they do have Rain and Brokey working on maintaining control of it. These mid-round CT aggressions, though, there's a reason these boys are still posted here. And it is just for the slow return of the rest of the pack. Audible reload, they know there's presence.
This is interesting as well. Shiro and Nafany are both playing in this cave position, and Nafany is actually going to be baited in by Shiro's AWP. They've left the gap over towards B ramp, and that now will be filled by Hobbit, who's rotating over. So this is working out perfectly here for Gambit, because the B execute with 55 seconds left, looking very likely.
Yeah, waiting for the incendiary to fade, perhaps. But it's so hard. I mean, you have to jiggle it, bait the shot.
Here come the smokes.
Shiro doesn't miss these. 44 seconds, and he'll drop a smoke of his own. That's perfect, but they are up ramp. Flash connects. Will they clear their corners? Oh, Shiro's missed his chance, and it's not the second. Oh, the no-scope's in, and already the bodies have dropped. There's nothing left, just Brokey. Dancing around the pillar with Shiro, and he is happy to play. Good damage, but not enough. Inters to swing in, and that's the end of that. Looks like a solid defense here out of Gambit, not going to lie. Looks like a timeout will be called. Just looking a bit shaken after their opening 5 rounds in foray here on Ancient.
Now look, there's not too many Gambit games to watch on this map. There's actually not too many games of any team to really watch, right? So you're dealing with a small sample size, but traditionally with the setups that we've been seeing out of a lot of teams, it tends to be 3 players over towards the B bomb site early, 1 player keeping their eyes on middle, and 1 player anchoring over towards that A bomb site. Right now, in the first 2 back-to-back gun rounds here, Gambit have had 2 players on that A site, or at least a player donut and site, and then they've had somebody middle as well. So they're dealing with this mid-aggression first, and then they're realizing that B isn't a huge weakness out the gates here. Here's the nade from Hobbit that almost landed. Carrigan caught that one. Would have been a bad way for Carrigan to go down as a first death again, right? That would just, him in the middle of nowhere couldn't be traded. But his low HP meant it was a formality here.
Yeah, and of course the stats this morning had Nafany as the highest rated entry as well. So keep track of that when we had to do swap sides. Carrigan quite the opposite end of that spectrum. Brokey containing A halls. Looks like Axel and Inters are taking a bit more of an aggressive stance here, so at least they'll have the information. Oh, this nade damage is relentless. Rain chunked on this deco. Gonna be Kevlar Vest and the Desert Eagle.
Getting cheeky there. There are a couple of gaps that they're able to exploit. Rain will actually be mollied back out of position, so it will just be the lower mid prong to take the assault. Carrigan and co have pushed on out here, and they're applying a lot of pressure. Smoked off Donut. Looks like they might want to head up towards the red house, but guess what? Hobbit's back in his hidey hole.
That smoke you'd think would force out. Oh, Olof. Oh, they've spotted him. Dead Swede. And an open A halls. Hobbit caught out, concedes his first. We know Twist's Eagle is dastardly. A flash for a more aggressive move, and he's just met Shiro. Okay, that one, put a pin in that. Instead, contact out. They know A halls was occupied. Important duel. They can just find the head. Axel shakes his and says no. 3. keeping those AKs in play, and 6 for Gambit.
That looked horrible for Faze, right? They took a lot of territory. Donut is great to have, but the fact that they didn't have any pressure A main, that is a big drama, right? You're coming into that site. Normally when you come through A main and you can focus forward, right? You focus forward towards CT or Temple. Here when they're coming in, we have to worry about A main control that we know is being taken. We also have to worry about CT, and then we have to also worry about Temple as well as a potential flank. They were screwed out of that one, and it was just the Deagles, so we weren't expecting too much, but back underway we go. And the guns are back on out. So Orb in the hands of Brokey here.
Yo, Hobbit's doing something different. He's actually going aggressive up there towards this ledge. Could challenge Shelf. It's being held at the moment. Rain responsible, but the timing could favor him.
Oh my God!
Oh, you minx! Hobbit takes them both, and he's got the lineup for the lineups.
How's he seen that? I couldn't see anything on my screen whatsoever.
I'm convinced that's just because he knows that's the standard smoke lineup. Just bodies them. Both of them. And again, Faze concede a double opening. What are you supposed to do now? It's
Make it a triple.
Yep.
This round's done as well here. Brokey would have to pull off some absolute heroics right now, and he's just going to walk into his demise. Nafany, close doors. Orb goes down, twists. Well, you want it to be a star, mate. This type of round here, I think, would more than cement that. A 1-on-5. No hope in the world. They're even going to push him. Okay, well, Gambit, they're dealing with that pressure. I don't think that's even a word that's come into their head.
Look at this. I mean, we talked about it, Chad. We said this game has all of the opportunity to be one of two things.
Yeah.
A Gambit stomp where they completely reaffirm everything we've been talking about in terms of the world #1 and the way in which they're doing it. Or the other is where FaZe Clan awaken and make this whole battle of old versus new into an intense 3-map affair. I'm not going to speak too soon, but
looks like we're getting the former.
Moves like that from Hobbit certainly do start the proceedings in that direction.
Yeah, now, again, we're back just down to a pistol upgrade here, so no plant. Didn't facilitate a buy. The max loss bonus in play, of course. And back towards mid, they'll pivot. So trying to pip a gap here, trying to thread that needle. FaZe, they seem to be having no luck with it. Mid has been an avenue they can at least push and pressure, but it's being well handled by Gambit. Another nade lands. Only a little bit of damage this time round, and that is a shallow smoke.
It is, but it does enable a cross.
Well, they found a gap.
Yeah, that's the way to manufacture one, I suppose. They can park the bus here. Karrigan likely does not want to be going down before context taken elsewhere.
Well, I think a bit of a missed smoke here. Hasn't landed exactly where they want it. You just saw that on the side of your screen. I think that's landed in no man's land, so bit of a gaff with the util. Some warning shots from Rain allows presence over towards the B-bomb site to be noted. Hobbit and Shiro, they currently reside. Nafany here as well. Inters is actually getting a move on, and Axel's pushing.
Oh, that's a big find. Karrigan will force at least maintain or rotate. The rest will plant their feet. Understandably so. Karrigan looking to rejoin the pack.
Shiro's about to be smoked off here.
Ooh. Okay. Unspotted, Hobbit. Continuing to do damage, and he could find 3. Multi-kill master. The halfling does not quit. And Karrigan, with just 3 frags to his name, unlikely to be finding anything out of this one, especially with 30 HP left in reserve. A little nutmeg into Hobbit. He's not interested. Make it 4. Why is Hobbit just breaking every expectation I have of him?
Well, this is the thing, right? During the group stage, that G2 game specifically, there was a couple of moments with Hobbit and Axel where normally when we see them in online play, they'd get like that multi-kill when it would come their way, and they were just going 1 for 1, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is the land difference, but right now, that's not a conversation at all. 8-0 out the gates. FaZe taking another timeout, their second so far in the first 8 rounds of play. And the conversation has to be, well, what do we have to do? Because right now, they've really just been going with the default spreads. They're not even getting a chance to attempt the picks. You've seen them walk into areas. There's been nade setups. There's been wombo combos. There's been flashes. There's been aggression coming their way. They're not able to set up a default. Even when they look for the picks, they're just getting owned. At what point do you just hit that ripcord and go, well, let's go scrimmy? You know, let's go in the type of Counter-Strike that we know we can run and gun. We just need a couple of bangers, twist, get us an entry, broke, you can convert. That type of play might need to come in soon, especially if the scoreline keeps it a big 0 here for FaZe.
I mean, it is, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, seen as a CT bias map.
It is.
We have got FaZe, the weakest T-side team in attendance.
We'd like a round this so far in, right? At least one.
At 8-0, yeah, it's starting to be alarm bells. And look at Hobbit. He's got a bloodlust. And again, the glimmer in his eye converts. Twist's gone. And he wants more. That nade's on the nose by Rain.
That one.
Everyone just cannot keep their health bar full when Gambit are in the server. Whether it's nades or just Hobbit.
Yeah, Rain segregated as well. That molly drop's going to force him away from Karrigan, so Nafany can continue to apply this utility and just delay the assault. He'll finally take some nade damage there, down to 55, so a decent one out of the hands of Karrigan. But it looks like back towards this B bomb site they want to pivot. And now that Shiro's been able to post up, this feels like an AWPer's dream.
Oh, here we go. Karrigan's taking a lot of risk, a lot of space, and ahead. Nafany down, smoke deployed. That will lock out Shiro. Oh, he's doing it all on his own here. This could be the chance, the best chance we've seen from Faze. Bomb to be planted. Flash isn't good. Karrigan's better. Takes down Hobbit. The big scalp to take in the current lay of the land. Now can they convert? Will there be Gambit resistance?
Well, Axel's coming the big flank right here, so he's going to come through B doors behind them, but there's so many angles to deal with. Shiro has to look left and right.
Spotted out. They know Axel has gone round the world. Karrigan wants to force the issue. Enters BA rotate. Olaf has struck onto Shiro, and that should enable the lockdown of the round. Bomb too far gone. They want to take everyone with them. Axel's making it as costly as he can.
There we go. There's a round. That's a way to make a bit of a statement right there. And it looked for the majority of this here that Gambit weren't actually going for the retake. They just wanted to play the economy game and deny some guns, and they weren't even able to do that to a big extent. AWP carried across. That's going to go into the hands of Brokey. There's enough money to get another buy going for everybody there over on the Faze side. Well, and the same with an 8-0 start can be said for Gambit, but this is it. You need consecutive rounds now here from Faze for them to start working on this CT-sided economy.
I mean, just seeing the 4v5 conversion definitely is going to incite some confidence. It was Karrigan that got all the space off the back of that flash. You saw Nafany had no vision off Brokey's flash. Takes a look, he's taken all that space. Doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things if they can't duplicate it.
So they're setting Brokey up with a flash here. A boost, sorry, with that AWP, not a flash. Well, I'm sure a flash will come as well.
Zone. Nafany happy to receive, and ooh, that boost enables info. It still doesn't stop him. Hobbit takes down Rain. Same move, different result. This time traded.
Well, Nafany's pinned right here. If Brokey stays up on this boost, Nafany would not be able to leave this area without some utility to get him across, and a jiggle peek could be deadly. Oh my lord, copper that dink. I don't think Olaf can push on in right now. He's been smoked to deny as well, so Axel, with his presence, has completely locked out A main, and even more damage done. What the hell?
Just a random speculative shot. Shiro, ooh, gets away with it. Missed his shot and tagged down. Forces the util out. This is a really good few pieces of the puzzle now for Faze.
Looks like they're starting to head back towards middle here, so no presence over towards B anymore. Karrigan dropping this donut smoke. Looks like he wants to push up towards mid, but he could also slip through that. 50 seconds left on the clock, so this smoke will expire. But it's Inter's really on his lonesome towards A. He doesn't really have any help. Axel is in spawn, so he'll be able to help on the cross, and perfect. Inter's a drop back knowing that. So good use of the util there. Still has a molly to work with, and Axel has some as well.
30 seconds. Axel will be the first to respond when Inter's calls for assistance. Okay, we're going to be seeing that AXX now with
their contact.
Yeah, 20 seconds. They'll be aware that this is a possibility, but who's going to be looking at plateau? It's all a question of timing here for Inter's. Axel draws blood and attention. Olaf's looking the wrong way. Segregated, eliminated, no time for the plant. Somebody get on that now. It's Karrigan's responsibility. He's faffing around. He's going to be caught out.
No time.
And that's the round. Just like that. Beautiful execution from the boys of Gambit. Survival. Oh, Karrigan caught after.
Oh, dearie me. That is not great for Karrigan's money situation whatsoever. Things were looking bad for Faze, but now they fall into a worse position here. They have that AWP. Sure, that can be dropped across. Brokey has a little bit of extra money, but Karrigan's going to be operating with very, very little here. And they call another timeout here, Faze. Really just trying to salvage this. Now, Twist having the AWP, right, him coming in, look, he gets that trade. It's not really going to mean a lot. The fact that Axel not only makes presence from spawn, but gets a kill, that's a huge difference maker, right? Like, it means that these guys have to focus him. They have to give the respect to Axel.
9 already. All right, not only winning the half, but extending their lead.
I think Karrigan's been gifted an AK here, so he can buy head armor, and he has an AK. So things actually worked out all right for Karrigan off the back of all that. Rain will be the one taking the emission here with the Deagle. Olaf down to a Galil. And that aforementioned AWP for Brokey. But the buy over there for Gambit is beautiful. And just looking at their reserve cash for future rounds, Axel has 7.6, you got 7K on the likes of Nafany. Hobbit has spent all his pennies, but he's been getting hyper aggressive. Let's see if that continues, because it's been helping out Gambit in those opening kill department.
Yeah, it's certainly been a blend of passive and not so much. Here is the standard util set. At least just the smoke, not going to be dropping his molly this time. Util B. Gaved.
Yeah, they're actually just going to wait this out here. They might just want to set up for a bit of a B piece out the gates. Twist is already coming back over from spawn. Brokey overseeing business while the rest of the gang are just dealing with the potential for the push, because Hobbit has made it more than apparent that he wants to jump up and fight. But it looks like they're going to walk up long again.
Giro to be tested here and does knock down Karrigan immediately. Smoke's now Bloom. That will nullify his position for at least another 10. Good spray. Damn, Olof on notice, but the bomb does go down. About to be chaos here. Faze. One-man disadvantage, but the bomb ticking in their favor. The next frag, the next 10 seconds determines an awful lot. And so they prepare. CT utility deployed. Hero still tucked in tight. Good find. That's big from Twist, but only the one. And Hobbit kept honest. It's Brokey's AWP. Fills the feed. Too many targets. Olof does manage to take one out of the equation. Trying to boost for it. I think they should be able to deny. Nafany's faked it out. They spot him out. They can both go down. It's so risky. And it falls apart in the final few seconds. That was a great chance for Faze. Gambit just shrug it off.
Oh, they deal with that, and it looked like it was all going to fall apart. The biggest problem for me that I saw for Faze there was they didn't have any utility to help reaggress, but they were able to trade efficiently, right? The kills came their way. That opener onto Shiro was good, and they were looking like they could convert, but just the utility usage of Gambit stifling under pressure constantly here. Faze will be able to recover. That's once again just by this loss bonus in play. I think jumping over the smoke there, I think we might catch it here. Oh, it's starting to fade, so it doesn't even matter. Nafany just appears in your face. 2 big kills, the in-game leader profits.
That was his fake as well, so he's always on the move. Highly alert in-game leader and a fragging one at that. This
is the same 2 players, Olof and Karrigan, over towards A main, and it's the same setup being used by Gambit that we had in the first gun round. Yeah. So, deja vu just here.
They'll just do smoke straight. Okay, sailing through the sky. Full AXEC in that sense. Will they be aware of the boost? Inters to draw attention to bots. No, they don't. And down goes Karrigan again. As simple as that. Man advantage found. Nafany's going looking and no one's holding. Trade will be there. Shiro holding up and knocks him down. Rain falls. Now just 2 remain. Twists across at least. Could have the element of surprise. Hobbit doesn't need to take active fights here, but he's willing to and confirms it. Olof keeps himself alive.
Huge information though. They know both players were over towards middle now, and Olof is already backpedaling towards T-spawn to at least give them another avenue. Twist push forward. He's going to take control of Red House, and meanwhile, Inters and Axel are just holding together here in Donut. Shiro's the only player over towards B, but you can check he's in a power position, pushed up ramp. He can cover everything he needs to. The pressure's on Faze right here. Roughly 30 seconds left on the clock. Mid being combed through now, and they can do this. They're allowed to because of the open plant situation on this A bomb site. As soon as the sound cues are heard, they can pivot on back. But if they keep moving, if they keep going too far, they actually might give up the site for free. So they've gone for a very big walkabout here, Gambit.
Yeah, but I'm still not sure if it's going to enable a plant, right? Inters should be CT to contest by...
Well, Axel's looking B, so unless Inters stops him, there is a chance.
Okay. I think the bomb will go down just in the nick of time. Twist and Olof could have a lot of impact here. Faze, the elusive second round is all they want. 3 healthy Gambit members working on the retake.
Twist needs this.
Certainly does, especially because he's about to lose Olof. There he goes. Twist holding the wrong line, and that's as easy as it gets. Double for Axel in the round. He opens it, and they close. 11 for Gambit and Faze. This ancient pick looking like more of a move of desperation at this point. Not quite able to find the conversion. And the loss of Karrigan, like, it's just brutal. Fine, the first. The second, just not clearing it at all, not accounting for it, not a little pop flash. It's just an easy disadvantage for Gambit to create.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to come out of that main position. Think of it like upper tunnels on B of Dust 2, right? That's one of the best kind of examples that I think you can have here. And you need to have a little bit more behind it. If you get stalled out by a molly, you need to be able to smoke that to continue with your flashes or all utilities in vain. But they're going fast. It's a pace change here. They're out mid.
Yeah, still a nuisance is Hobbit. Chips away at the star.
Oh, this is quick. This is very quick, and he's disrespecting the smoke.
I think he heard the rotate. He heard Hobbit charging away. He wants to take space, take some liberties. This incendiary might lull them into a false sense of security that they're still not quite pushed through.
Massive gap.
Oh, Karrigan, this is a premium opportunity.
Nobody's looking at all.
Can't let this go away. Do they want to go A? That's the conversation they're having right now. Up the lane, sound cues exchanged, smoking off the donut. Karrigan is completely behind enemy lines here.
Axel seems kind of aware. He's pivoting everywhere right now. Back is turned at the moment.
Karrigan, trigger discipline, spots out the first, will execute him. A lot in the rotate, he's thinking too much, needs to get his gun out, and Hobbit will equalize. They're into A though, he's created enough space to at least, hopefully, set up some util and a plant. Uh-oh, I think he's safe there. No, still burning, still burning. And now dead. Now Faze should have a plant. The spray, not far off the mark. Shiro and Nafany remain. Looks like Faze have got a good shot at this. Shiro, speaking of good shots, creates his first. Twist, solid angle. Converts. And Nafany. He's got a full utility belt, but time, about half gone on the bomb. Clears out the donut, knows they're occupying the site itself, and Rain is a very easy pre-aim, holds it down. Faze will make it 2, and it's all off the back of Carrigan.
I know there's been so much conversation about Carrigan and even what he said about himself in that interview he did with HLTV, but the fact is, he's had to make desperate plays.
Yeah.
The only 2 rounds they've come is from Carrigan making desperate moves that he has almost single-handedly won. The fact that he gets that and manufactures that opening is the whole reason the team is coming back towards A. So it is only 1 kill and then he's traded, but regardless, he gave them the space. So sure, in the first gun round they got, he had multiple kills. This time it was the space and the frag, but the T side is Carrigan at this point.
It is.
And that can't be the case. You need somebody else to step up and find you some opening kills. The Orpa, Brokey, Twist, the Star. Somebody needs to help out the in-game leader in finding some openings.
2-man mid setup. Aggressive posturing, and it will be the death of Rain. He's been having a real tough time on that lane side. He hears Hobbit's util, he knows he was close, and as the smoke comes in, they will recede. Will Carrigan again be responsible for Faze and their T-side success? Off the flash, coming in, nice find from Nafany, double from him, no less. Dropping smokes, taking their time. There is more pressure, admittedly. Brokey has to pull the plug on this. And now, where on earth do you go? Rain's tucked in, that's something at least. Control of the bedroom, or cave as it's more commonly referred to. It's gonna take me a while to break that habit. And they're gonna have to just hope and pray that Gambit, expose themselves, a chance, a very small chance. If he could just adjust, quick, straight into 1, no 2. Rain has opened up the site, and Faze, you said they have to do it without Carrigan. Well, they do have to do it. 2 on 2. Bomb down, Axel and Shiro both advancing from CT side. A slight gap though, looking to be exploited. Brokey sticks around on the site. He's so paranoid about that ramp. Rain will clear it out for him temporarily. Just in that blind spot, he didn't catch them. They're closing the gap. Good shot. Doesn't he ready? He is. Brokey quick on the AWP. And there you have it, a third for Faze. If they can make it 4, there's something to be said about Ancient.
Yeah, and I just think that bias that you brought up earlier when the score was 8-0 about it being a CT map, now we can actually have a conversation about that, because 4 rounds here from Faze, they can work with that. They get that CT pistol, they're able to get the conversion against the Force. Now we're cooking.
This shot, though, and the fact he gets 2.
It was great stuff, right? Brokey getting the opening on Nafany, that kind of is where all the pieces fell apart. And this was just a second wave of late utility. The reason they were thrust forward is because the molly came into that cubby position over towards wood. That forced them behind the pillar. Nafany was searching for info. All the dominoes fell into the perfect place there. Once again, we go, but it's a low buy here. They've had to force all in. Their money has been broken for the final round of play. Nafany has made his way up towards the ledge. This is not going to be an easy fight with the Deagle, and immediately taken down. Axel falls over towards A as well. So having to get more up close and personal with the lower buy, it's really hurting Gambit here for round number 15. It just might pivot behind that smoke, you know. It does have a gap. Brokey could profit. And he will. Simple stuff there. Well, right now, Faze is set for 4. I don't see a way they lose this one. Shiro's been good. Great here. That was rough. All right, well, they know where one player is. Over towards B they should go now. At most, one player on the B side.
It's Shiro, the M4. Carrigan trying to draw shots, gets the info he was waiting for, and now anticipating ramp, right to do so. They molly out his options. Great play. Faze completely nullified by Shiro. Doesn't get a fair fight at any opportunity. Now, Hobbit, you've been a superstar. I have no expectation that superstar can take down 4 members of Faze and defuse the bomb from under their nose. Rain's on site. They've got a lovely spread. Rain clears him out. Will be traded, and there you have it. 4. It's functional. Gambit versus Faze. It started out as many expected. Faze have at least shown some resistance. Let's see how that second half and how those brilliant CT sides translate. Yes, Gambit versus Faze clan. Gambit up to their usual antics, already 11. Just 5 rounds away from them taking Faze's map pick. And a bit of a curveball in that map pick is Ancient. And not only that, we now get to see if Faze's CT side is worth its salt. It's not been fun. Certainly not for the Stars as well. Olaf struggling to get going. Twist kept honest. Karrigan not only at the top of the scoreboard, but the only impact we got to see in conversion of that first half. I'm Machine, I'm joined by Sponge, and this should be Faze's opportunity. If they can at least avoid having to lose another second round, maybe win the pistol for a change, that certainly would be put the right foot in the right direction.
Well, stats have it. They've won 50% of their pistols so far. They lost the one in the first half, so statistically speaking, Alex, they should win this one
Right,
here.
let's flip the coin, and let's see if they can get this one going.
1x bet odds still favoring Gambit here for this one. Makes sense. It was 11-1 at one point here, but salvaging the half are Faze and pushing down long aggressively here. Rain leading the charge. He's been spotted. Nafany knows.
That might be enough for Rain.
Have the bomb, right? So on that jiggle, it's not like a huge amount of info, it's just one body. And they did pivot back passively straight away. Twist has even cheated over as well. So someone now peeking through mid, it just going to take the little dome. That was Brokey's head spotted, and Brokey dips on back. I think he is not going to take any risks whatsoever.
I like this angle. This is such a potent angle from Olaf. You can see so little of him, and you see even less of Hobbit as he is deleted. For more great shots out of the USP. Olaf with 2, sets up Rain, baits them in nicely. And that's the crossfire. Very hard to break, and it looks great for Faze here. 3 frags to the good.
Well, to race right now back towards his A site. Karrigan doing his best to get over towards Temple. Twist trying to deal with that mid, and Karrigan having the Molotov. If he drops it on the plant spot, he'll deny, but if he swings out too wide, he could go down to this 250. The molly will land. They can still get this one down, and they need to.
Yeah, they can. They can peek over the flames, perhaps. Axel keeps him honest. He's got that P250. Twist has to tread carefully as he waits for the rotate, and this is what happens. Axel could happen. 2v4. Now just 1v3. Axel with it all to do. Hard shots to hit, being closed in on. Crosshairs in the right place. There should be no way. Brokey, finally a sigh of relief, as he will bring home the 5th for Faze.
Oh, it's so scary against these Gambit players on pistol rounds, right? You look at their players in the tournament so far, some of the best pistol players in the entire tournament, right? So when you're going up in that moment against Axel, if you haven't been watching Counter-Strike for the last 7 months, he right now is probably the best mechanical player. The kid is just an absolute robot. So it wasn't out of the realms of possibility there for him to just destroy them, but this is Olaf putting the shoe on the other foot. Did have a rough first half, but this is where the likes of Faze do their best work. This is where the multi-kill potential of the Stars on Faze are able to show up and light up the server. The fan cams, you guys can get involved at home, IEM.gg/fancam if you want to join all those lovely faces. Here we go, back underway, and the plant has facilitated a juicy looking buy here. 3 Galils, 2 Mac 10s, and a little bit of utility to work with as B lane control is being established here. Throwing out a couple of hot shots through the smoke. Good information for Gambit to work with here that there is pressure right now in lamps.
Hobbit's up. Olaf strafes in, and that's a big collection. That was one of the rifles as well. A lot less potent now. Gambit will have to rejig a few things. Staring at the face of the smoke, he'd love that Galil. I think that might be his project he's working on. Ooh, I see you, Jakey. Highlighting the weapon for us all at home there. Now, if they're walking on in to this A setup, Karrigan on the boost that bested him in our first half. Having a glance here. Axar, the challenge, great find from Karrigan. He sticks around, looking to reposition now, and they're both here. It could be that potential double. He may have spotted him out. Oh dear, and they're hunting with the boost. He won't be anticipating this. Nice find.